My apologies for doing this in segments. I just had some challenges with space, so I had to create some space first. But back to it. I was still explaining this deity that Wavenda spoke about, Mwali. And they talk about this deity as being a deity that teaches them how to exist in the environment that they find themselves in. Even from the basic element of agriculture, how to farm. These are the practices, and those practices that today people are trying to call organic agriculture, so it's something new. That is what the gods taught the original people, if I can put it that way. You know, and that's why even if you go to the East, you'll hear them talking the same thing in terms of how they relate to the earth and how they do their agricultural practice. So this element of earth, there's a certain way that they view it. Do you see that? There's a certain way they view water and how they deal with it, and relate to it, how they develop around these elements. Do you see that? How they create their worlds through a deep understanding of these elements, both at a spiritual and technical and practical level. Do you see how worlds are brought into existence? It's not mysterious or mythical. And that's where all these disciplines come from that they have you studying. And yet, they apply the combination of everything to maintain dominance. And then use propaganda to put you to sleep, of course. Let me say you and I, so that you don't think I'm talking above you. But real talk, this is how it works. This is the whole game, and it's a chess game where the dominant want to make sure that every move they make in securing their interests, you don't understand. You understand why they are making the move, and then they will tell you some narrative that they want you to go with, but their real intention you will never really know. And so, but me understanding power and how it works, and having studied all these different civilizations, I understand it's about maintaining control, and dominion. And that is why it's so important to have this understanding, brothers and sisters. And so that whole idea of culture and lifestyle. So in this example I was making, Vavenda, last time I mentioned something about chilimo, or the planting season, the season to till the soil. It's called chilimo from ulima. So the season is chilimo, and then planting or tilling the soil is ulima. And so you see the relation there with that root word lima, how it goes into different other related concepts. Now the ancient Hebrew language works in the same way, and other ancient languages work in the same way. And so it is for this reason that when you are looking at it from that perspective, you get a clearer picture and understanding of what the whole point was, beyond all these little these lines that have been drawn, between all of you, and you all hold on to the little piece of the puzzle that you have, and you don't see that it's just a piece. It's not the full picture. It's just a piece. Anyway, brothers and sisters, as I said, let me read my notes here so that I don't get carried away. All lands have their own laws. Unless laws that human beings legislate are in harmony with these natural laws, their governance will amount to naught. And that's how it happens. And so the rise of all of these empires, civilizations begin with a heightened understanding of the elements and their application. And possibly those who are the pioneers or the founders have a heightened understanding of this ancient knowledge. And then as the generations go by, it all gets lost, and then everything disintegrates and degenerates, as we see pattern with all the empires and civilizations. They lose that understanding of this knowledge, and as their empires grow and they encroach onto other lands, into lands which have laws of the land that they don't understand, and then they try to impose their laws there, which don't work there. You know, uh, folks, I must tell you, and as much as many of us might not want to hear this, Roman Dutch law is not compatible with this landscape. This land has its own rhythm. It has its own law. It has its own times. You remember the prophet said they will think to change the times and laws. This land has its own times. Chirimo, its own laws. You understand? In terms of how societies were meant to be governed. And that's why you have absolute chaos all over the world, because someone is trying to impose laws that don't work. And then you're trying to talk about some universal idea. It doesn't work. It won't work. The spirits of the land, which the laws of the land speak to, will not let anything work. And that's why we're never going to have peace until we resolve this issue of the question of the laws of the land. So that's why none of it is working anywhere in Africa. Whether it's British law, Roman Dutch law, or whatever version of it is, Eurocentric frameworks won't work. And they did the same thing with religion, how they gave you their culture with a little bit of, a little bit embellished with religion there, but ultimately it was their culture, so they can transform you for you to be like them in every aspect, so that they can better control you because they understand what they made you into. Before they transformed you, they didn't understand you. And because of that, it made it very difficult for them to deal with you. But now, having transformed you, you are perfectly where they want you. So they know, if you're talking socialism, they know how you're coming. If you're talking communism, they know how you're coming. If you're talking capitalism, they know what you mean. If you say free market, it's their stuff. They know everything. Everything you could ever possibly say. If you say Christian, they know exactly. If you say Dutch Reformed, they know. If you say Anglican, Roman Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, they know. They know all of it. What they don't know is that power, that ancient mysterious power that caused you in different places on this planet to build incredible feats, incredible demonstrations of civilization. And even then, your focus was not even on those things. Those things were not what you were focused on back then. The ancients were not obsessed with these material things like we are, And we take our contemporary understanding every time and we try to insert it into the ancient world. And because we are such a society that our minds have been polluted by racism and white supremacy, that's why we cannot imagine a version of history outside of, what has been taught, the dominant narrative. You can't imagine anything, outside of that. It is because of how this idea polluted us, this concept of inferiority versus superiority. It was to make sure that all of these ancient knowledge systems that we hold as the indigenous peoples of the earth, we must look down upon them. I mean, my people, Wavenda, they were utterly convinced by large numbers that our ways are savage, they are backwards and all of that. Chikona, a lot of people don't even, what is that? I mean, in 2024, Chikona, what is that? We're doing piano up in here, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying to you, we were tricked. We were tricked into receiving a message that would completely derail us from focusing on what was important. And this very issue right there is where everything has to start, brothers and sisters. You gotta start by correcting the questions around the law of the land. You understand? If you don't You see, if you want to talk about decolonizing, we must decolonization. Hey, look, I'm all for it, and if you say you must decolonize the law, the legal system, but you must understand whatever it is that you're going to decolonize and put in place, I hope it speaks to the laws of the land themselves. And that's all I'm saying. And so this is why there is no peace. You look at all the former colonies, you will be hard pressed to find an example of a society that is flourishing. Because, there can't be peace. Understand? And so, as I said, Bavenda saying Mwali taught them the proper way to exist in harmony with that environment. Right now, I don't want you to worry about who Mwali was, what form he was in, and all of that. The idea is what's important, that there is an entity, whoever, whatever it was, taught the people. Maybe it was an ancient sage or something. Who knows? Who had himself attained a level of mastery of the elements. Whatever it is, that's not the point. The point is the idea that you have to capture there. That they say this entity taught them the proper way to exist in harmony with that environment that they found themselves at that particular point. Now, Chikoona as a rhythm is a good example of this, a good example of the expression that I see this rhythm, this pattern, and like this has to be coming from the spiritual realm. Because whenever I listen to Chikoona, let me put it this way, that is church for me. You understand? That for me is church. Chikoona is church for me. My inward parts respond immediately. Hey, when I was going to church growing up, it was like my soul just felt suppressed. Like, this can't be it. It just didn't feel natural to the rhythm of the land, to the law of the land. And so, obviously, as I said, Wavenda brought Moari with them from the great Zimbabwe, Mapungubwe, and places like that. And then again, I make reference, this is why the Holy Land will spit out those claiming to be Jews today. Whoever is saying, making whatever claims in that land, trust me, that land has its own law. Law of the land. It's not the law of Rome. It's not the law of Greece. It's not the law of America. It has its own law. If you don't abide by it, it won't work. Land will spit you out. It never works. And so the Eurocentric mind has always misunderstood our ancient cultures, as I alluded. They studied our ancient knowledge systems. They took a lot of our artifacts, kept them with them, and all of that, you understand, to try and maintain their dominion. They studied our knowledge systems, and they tried to use them to gain power for themselves. Unfortunately, and here's the catch, unfortunately, they did not read the fine print. The fine print, ladies and gentlemen, of the contract that comes with access to that power and that knowledge, that ancient knowledge. Fine print. And what is that fine print? The parts about truth, righteousness, accountability, and responsibility. See, there is no kingdom of God based on truth and righteousness that could have, agreed to what was done to, the Palestinians up there in Gaza. No way. And that's why you will see it's all going to collapse. They're not going to maintain that so-called state for very long. And it's nothing about anything. Human beings have prejudice, they have violence, they have all of that. The spirits of the land and the laws of the land don't deal with that. They just weigh things based on truth, justice, righteousness. And according to that, That's how it's going to work. And if you don't reconcile that thing with how you are governing, you will see. Our leaders have been seeing. I mean, what they have tried. I mean, since 1994, how many things have we tried here? How many things have we tried? GIA, NDP, what? You are going to try all of it. If you have not reconciled with the law of the land, nothing is going to work, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, at least you must make an attempt to get as close to alignment with the laws of the land as you possibly can, as close as possible. That will give you half a chance. But if you think you are going to go the polar opposite to the laws of the land and somehow it must work, it won't, unfortunately. That is why the British colonial dominion didn't work here. That is why the apartheid dominion didn't work here. And that's why this democratic dominion is not working here. Because none of them considered the laws of the land and the times of the land. Shifting people away from being in harmony with the rhythms and the cycles and the set times and seasons of this land already set that thing up for failure from the very beginning. And so this is the reason why all empires historically reached their inevitable judgment day, as this present dominion already has. It's just a matter of time. And so, to borrow from Uncle Bob Marley, only a fool lean upon his own misunderstanding, as they continue to do in this civilization. You know, they keep trying. They're trying to mesh that ancient knowledge with their own, selfish purposes and intents. And it's not working out, and it never will. It will inevitably crumble. So as I close, I want you to think about this, what I was saying about Chikona. We gotta reconnect with those rhythms, man, and those cycles, man, and be in the lands that connect to those rhythms and cycles. It is then that we will reach the right type of enlightenment that we're supposed to reach, which is relevant to the lands we are in. I don't know how else to say it, Africans. It's that simple. It's that simple. So as I close, back again on Chikona, there's a saying in Venda, they say, Chikona muradza shango. And what that means is, Chikona is, if you say muradza shango, it means, uradza means to lay down or, to put to rest, to lay to rest. And then Shango is the land, So you hear what is being implied there is, this is what brings peace, tranquility, and rest to the land and its people. And indeed, our elders have always told us that this was played to ensure that there is peace in the land. And when it was played, there was peace in the land. But not only that, a lot of times when it is played, rain comes, So, there's a lot we are missing, brothers and sisters. As we continue in that academic framework, the maklapis that they've put on us, we are missing low-hanging fruits. Knowledge, right at our fingertips. Right at our fingertips. We are looking everywhere else except inside ourselves for what is immediately available, brothers and sisters, immediately available. And so I want us to think about, I want us to think differently about how we approach sort of this reconnecting, the reconnection with ourselves, our culture, the African way, it has to be beyond, mere petty anger at racists and all of that. You really have to want to learn and understand and return to being in tune with those, rhythms, cycles, set times, and laws of this land, brothers and sisters. And that's why I took great inspiration was when I was watching these chants that my Zulu brothers and sisters were doing. Man, I was like, yo, the spirit is in the air. That's what it's about. Gotta be singing those chants, man, that our ancestors left us with. Those are way markers. Those things are supposed to show, guide us, give us a direction of some sort, even though it may be as obscure as it is and blur. But those are the elements we must follow up on, you know? And everyone has to do their own personal work. I'm not going to tell anyone how to do anything. I have my own journey that I'm following. How you following yours, I don't know, but I'm going in, to understand the science of what my people were doing. And it's not to boast or to show off that, yeah, we were intelligent, we were smart. I don't care about that. I'm interested in power, to understand how this thing is being used by our enemies against us, our own knowledge. That's where I'm at, brothers and sisters. So I don't know how you're going to approach it, but, everyone has their own journey, as I said. And so, brothers and sisters, as I leave you in perfect peace, let me say shalom. And let me say nda. And let me say nisale zwavhuḓi. Salani kahle. And let me give you a little bit of chikon as we go. Yo, hi, yo, hi, yo, hi, yo, hi. Right? Right? This is where it's at, baby. So yeah, great day for the righteous. Terrible day for the wicked. That's all I'm going to say. The judgments have been declared. It's done. It's over for this civilization. So I leave you in perfect love and peace, brothers and sisters. Shalom.